All right, I want to get this video out to you because this project right now is paying really well, a little over 10% a day, about 15% per day with the proper strategy. I want to cover that in this video, let you know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Trex. I avoided this project at first because I thought it was just a hex clone, and the website looks a little bit dopey, and I just thought, you know what, I'm not looking for some cheap, crazy clone. But I'll tell you a story. I was actually at a business conference this past weekend, and a gentleman who knew that I was in cryptocurrency says to me, he's actually he's a motivational speaker and is a former NFL player. But he says to me, he says, "Hey man, aren't you in crypto?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Man, how you move stuff from Binance to MetaMask and buy tokens?" He goes, "Isn't that complicated?" And I said, "Well, it takes a little bit of know-how." I said, "What are you trying to buy?" And he says, I'm buying Trex. And I said, "Hex?" He said, "No, Trex." And I said, "On the Binance Smart Chain?" He said, "Yeah, that's the one." And I didn't say a whole lot to him, but when I got home, I thought, let me look into this. Let me see what he's looking at. Ladies and gentlemen, there are plenty of people that can call themselves Bitcoin maximalists, Hex maximalists, whatever. But let me tell you something. You can't put yourself in a position where you can miss out on a potential opportunity. Now, I don't know where this project is going. This is not financial advice, but there is something unique here that has some real potential. I mean, some very real potential. So let's go in here. I'm going to go through the mechanics here. We're going to talk about this. First thing, if you're familiar with Hex, Trex works just like Hex. There's a lobby you go into every day. They're on day 80 something out of about 400 days. But there's several significant differences. This isn't a direct clone. There's several significant differences with Trex compared to Hex. And I'm going to show those to you right now. This is, to me, where there could be a big difference. And by the way, this thing in the past 80 days has already done about a 10x. So who knows what it's going to do 80 to 90 days from here. I'll put a link in the description. You will get a 10% bonus if you use the link to go into the lobby. However, ladies and gentlemen, not financial advice. Just because Hex did amazing does not mean Trex is going to do amazing. As much as I think this project has potential, I will share with you some of my concerns towards the end. I mean, everything's not sunshine and rainbows. You have to kind of look at everything in the mechanics and weigh out the pros and cons. Now, as I go through this, you've got to think about the economic mechanics, the game theory mechanics. Do you think these fundamentals will work? Do you think it will attract people here? Why or why not? Do you think this is going to cause the price to go up? Do you think this is going to cause the price to go down? So as I discuss the different mechanics here, particularly if you're familiar with how Hex works, then you want to ask yourself, what do I think? Do I think this will actually work better or worse than Hex? One thing is, I forget the supply. We may come across it. The supply is not nearly as big as Hex. But let's go ahead. That's only important when we look at price. By the way, we'll quickly jump over here and look at price. Here's the price right now at 0.009. It started out way over here. I think it got down to like 0.0008. So it's done more than a 10x already. And it has been as high as 0.002. So we may have a lot of upward potential, maybe. Look at this. Market cap of only 659,000. That's nothing. I mean, a market cap of 6 million is just starting. So, I mean, 60 million probably is not impossible, less likely, but not impossible. So it's just interesting to see what could happen. And maybe nothing happens. Maybe it just goes down from here. But let's talk about it. What makes Trex different than Hex? And I will tell you, I have a specific strategy that I'm using. I've already planned it out. There's a lot of strategies. I just put a video, uploaded it for my members over here. My Trex monthly income strategy. If you want to check that out, just come over here, join our membership, go down in the description, click on our Linktree link, and you'll see 1, 2 right here. Click on our Crypto Passive Profits membership. That will take you over there, and you can check that out and get my exact strategy that I'm going to be using. All right, so what is Trex? As one of the first staking tokens, Hex, the original Hex, has been launched in December of 2019. Providing very basic staking functionality. It has reached a $50 billion market cap. Now, I told you we're only at 600,000 over here with Trex. $50 billion. That's insanity. and has become the fourth largest cryptocurrency, showing how valuable native staking is. It is also important to mention this and other normal staking tokens have already proven staking is as rewarding as trading, farming, and lending without the risk. I would disagree with that. Hex has shown not to have a lot of risk, but there are other staking platforms that have been very, very risky. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, when you watch my channel, I'm going to tell you the truth about how I feel. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Referral links, not. Sponsored video, not. I'm going to do my best to tell you the pros and cons all the time. Advanced high flexibility staking tokens. So this is where we start seeing some things that are different. Normal staking protocols treat stakes as fixed commitments and barely providing any flexibility. But today, people's lives change more often. Jobs, partnerships, locations, and thus there's a higher demand for flexibility. Rex is a solution delivering both the advantage of a decentralized cryptocurrency and flexibility in its native interest-bearing staking functionality. So let's look at this. 4 new functions bring yet unseen flexibility to native tokens. So you can name your stakes. That's just a fun vanity sort of thing. You can name your stakes. So you can name a stake my happy birthday stake if you want to build up, say, to your birthday, or my Merry Christmas stake, or name a stake after one of your kids if you wanted to create a stake for them. Use a stake as currency. This is crazy. You can transfer your stakes. So you can literally transfer a stake to somebody, give it away as a gift. You heard that right. We're not talking about sell the stake, end the stake early. You can keep the stake intact and send it to somebody else. Split your stake. So you have a stake and you want to, say you want to sell off half of it, but you want to keep half of it. You can split the stake in half. That's crazy. You can sell it if you wanted to. You can transfer half of it to a friend, keep half if you want. That's incredible. They show you the example of if there was a marriage and maybe like a divorce or something, you could literally split your stakes in half. Think about that. That's crazy. Here's another one. Scraping off interest of immature interest rates. Well, I'm sorry. Scraping off interest of immature stakes. So you have a stake, you do one of those 5-5-5 stakes, and then all of a sudden you decide, it's accrued a lot of interest. Those 5-5-5-5 stakes right now, I think they're doing about 12 or 15% a day right now. Of course, that interest goes down a little bit every day. But if you get an early stake for a long time, you get a lot of interest. What if you want to scrape some of that interest off? Cash in that interest without ending the stake early. You can't, so keep in mind, you can only scrape off interest. You can't scrape off the principal. So if you end the principal stake early, it's still, you're still going to pay the penalties just like you would on Hex. So you could scrape off interest and create new stakes. Of course, if you create new stakes, that interest becomes the principal in a new stake, and you can't scrape it off anymore. You can just scrape off additional interest. But point being, these are interesting mechanics. There's an incredible amount of flexibility here. The question is, are these mechanics bullish or bearish? At first, when I looked at this, I thought maybe this is bullish. Maybe it gives people an incentive to end early. But the more I looked at it, the more I thought, at first I thought maybe it was bearish. But the more I looked at it, I thought, you know what? The added flexibility may actually be bullish. For example, I'll show you. Well, if you can name a stake, and if you name a stake your birthday stake, I think you're more likely to keep it till your birthday, first of all. Use a stake as currency. So that would prevent people from ending the stake early, which if they wanted to, sell a stake or give a stake away or transfer a stake, so you wouldn't get penalties because it wouldn't end it early, but it does keep the token locked up longer, which decreases the liquidity, decreases the circulating supply, which in and of itself could be a pump of mental. But then look, split your stake. So this is the one I was like, okay, well, so if you split your stakes, you're not paying the full penalty. But I think this actually encourages people to end stake early, which pays additional penalties to everybody else still staked, which in and of itself makes the APY or APR overall a bit higher, because there's plenty of people that are going to be more likely to take profit if they don't have to unstake the full stake, which means there could be a higher percentage of people actually ending stakes early, or at least partial stakes early, and that could potentially give more rewards. So you got more flexibility and a mechanic that could almost encourage people to end stake early. I think that could be very interesting. Then number 4 is scraping off interest of immature stakes. So this is the part that I'm not sure on. I'm 50-50 on this one. If they scrape the interest off, maybe they just sell. And if that's the case, then that could drive price down. And I think that could be what's happening now. If you look at the chart, you see the chart, how it kind of keeps plateauing, and you got these long wicks up here. I'm thinking that a lot of people are selling, but it doesn't matter because they're only scraping off interest. It's only going to go so low. And if some of them were scraping off that interest and selling, there are probably other people scraping off interest and restaking for later times. So I think that could just be creating a greater floor on the price. Maybe. That's what I'm thinking about it. But see, there's something else very interesting about this. Let's see if we can come down here. The daily big paydays. This is different from Hex. Every single day you go in the lobby, they do daily paydays. So there's no origin address. Let's just read through this. It makes sense to get your REX from auctions and not from exchanges in the first year, and then stake the REX received from auctions because it makes you eligible to have a personal big payday, which gets you your investment in BNB back or more. Think about this. Literally, you could go in big, and at some point through the year, you could get all of your BNB back. You could be instantly in profit from that point forward. The contract redistributes up to 85% of the incoming BNB back to the users via big paydays that occur every 24 hours, 11 a.m. London time. If someone has taken part in an auction once, he may be hit by personal big payday routines every day, again and again, until day 365. I think it's actually day 400 now. I think they changed that to 400. When the year ends, that means you may get a lot more BNB back when you have spent a lot more BNB than you sent into auctions. So basically what happens is randomly 85% gets redistributed to reimburse people. They get a personal big payday. When you get that personal big payday, it covers all of the BNB that you put in as long as you've staked 100% of the BNB that you put into the auction. So you could get back everything you put back in the auction. Now, if you only have 50% of it staked, then you'll get 50% of what you put back into the auction. But here's the caveat. You could randomly get chosen twice. If that happens, you double up. That's insane if you think about it. That's absolutely insane. But in order to get the big payday, you got to keep 100% or you got to keep your REX tokens staked. Not everyone has a big payday every day, of course, but chances are high to be hit one day as there are still many days left when you may have a big payday. Everyone may be hit every day as long as he keeps his stake received from auctions staked. See, that's very, very interesting. They have a referral program. Link in the description. Basically, 10%. You get 10% extra tokens when you stake in the lobby. I get 10%. I mean, when you go into the lobby with BNB, I get 10% extra tokens. Plus, I get like 0.04% or whatever. Now, this big payday is a significantly different mechanic than Hex. Plus, right here, these four: keep track of your stakes, use your stake as currency, split your stake, scraping off your interest. There's also something else that's very interesting, and I'm not sure yet what I think about it, and that's these tokens. So there's 2 additional tokens, very low supply. So in order to do all these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to own one of the MREX tokens. So these MREX tokens sold for 0.1 BNB until the supplies were gone. Now they're sold on PancakeSwap. And I'll put the contracts down in the description if you know how to add them on PancakeSwap. If not, maybe I'll do another video on that later. But you can buy them on PancakeSwap. And if you do, you got to have one token in one MREX token to be able to access those additional features. Now you can get up to 20 MREX tokens. That basically gives you a bonus on your referrals, but you need 1 to unlock the special functions. Oh, you also the MREX tokens also allow you to go into the auction with additional BNB. So instead of going in, I think there's a max you can go in each day. I think it's either 1 or 2 BNB. You can get up to 2 BNB additional. So I think I can go in with 3 or 4 total for the day. And you can, I'll put this link in the description. You can buy the MREX and you can buy Trex on PancakeSwap. Now the Trex token, there's only 1,000 of them. This token is incredible, and this gives another mechanic. Now MREX is already selling for 0.3 on PancakeSwap. There is like nobody in this thing. Like it's so small. I think this MREX token, because everybody's gonna want to own one. I mean, this thing could hit 1 BNB, maybe much higher. It just depends on how much this thing grows. Now the Trex token, this one's interesting. By owning one Trex, and these things sold for 1 BNB till they sold out. When they sold out, I ended up getting mine for 7 BNB. That's right, 7 BNB. Why was I willing to pay for 7 BNB? Because if you understand how share prices work, owning one Trex allows you, the big benefit is right here. It allows you to always get the share price of day one. Now, if you understand how Hex works, that's a really, really big deal. But this is also mechanic. I don't know what happens here. Like 1,000 whales are always buying. I don't know. That's such a big benefit. I almost see this as a negative because they're always getting that share price, and the mechanic that causes share price to go with Hex is really, really important. So a lot of people don't seem to realize that this could be a negative, but at the same time, the higher the Trex price goes, the less likely it is. I mean, there's just a less access to people that are going to be able to get those Trex, get that additional share price. In fact, if you hold one Trex and you go in for 5 days, I mean, I think it's 15% a day right now that we're getting. I say we. I haven't even got anything yet because I just went in for the first time today, and I didn't own the Trex when I went in, so I don't think that matters for me. But I'm going to be going in some more, and I discuss my full strategy over here. Just go down the description on my Linktree link and go right here to Crypto Passive Profits membership. Once you get over here on Subscribestar, just come over here and you can join our Subscribestar membership, and scroll down and you just watch this first video right here. All right. And if you want to get the Trex tokens, I'll put a link in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an interesting project. By the way, I'm still bullish on Pulse Chain. I'm still bullish on what Hex is going to do. I've been buying a little bit of Hex most every day, but Rex is something a little bit different. And for those of us that, didn't maximize what we could have done on Rex, I mean, what if this thing goes up to 6 million or 60 million? God forbid if whatever hits 600 or 6 billion. I mean, 10% of what Hex would be about 6 billion. Does it do that? I don't know. It really comes down. Here's what it comes down to: the game mechanics. What do you think about these differences? What do you think about Trex allowing people to always get that share price? I don't know. That's what it's going to come down to. Do these game mechanics, does the game theory, do these economic mechanics, are they an overall improvement on Hex? That's the question. Hey, let me know your thoughts down below. And if you want to support the channel, get your Rex down below as well. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth, always bringing you what I think are some of the best passive income projects in all of crypto. Decentralized crypto equals freedom, ladies and gentlemen. And in some cases, might even equal crypto wealth. I'm out.